This is the most I've put mileage-wise on any electric car ever. So this is my true electric vehicle experience, and it's a Chevy Silverado. Some people are saying that these will be good for 100,000 miles. Other people will say that at 50,000, you're probably gonna need a battery change. I don't know. That'll be, only the future can tell that. But would I approve one of these for a modern day vehicle if I had to go buy a new electric vehicle? Alright, so we just left this like African safari, but there's a catch, it's actually in Texas.
Middle of nowhere.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's an ostrich that was just pecking away at the vehicle. And I'm like, what am I gonna tell the company that if there's any damage? Now, I normally am not going to do a video on an electric vehicle because let's be real, almost all my cars are vintage and my daily's an 85 turbo diesel wagon with nearly 500,000 miles. And frankly, I've been somewhat anti-electric vehicle on the car realm I'm still not convinced. But I believe everything deserves a chance. Everything deserves to be tested and given the opportunity to prove somebody who normally would be anti-electric, and to convince them whether it is worth it or it's not. Now, would I say I'm convinced I'm gonna go buy an electric vehicle tomorrow? No. I'm still gonna drive my 500,000 mile Mercedes turbo diesel wagon. But my perceptions of what an electric vehicle such as this car has proved itself, its usability and its capability and its overall practicality, that perception has been changed, in my opinion, after driving and spending a considerable amount of time with one on this trip we're doing. So let's get into some details what this is about. I flew down to Texas for some business and I was given an opportunity to drive this electric 2024 Chevy Silverado. Now, this is a truck that they just came out with, and it is 100% electric, not a hybrid. There's no gas. This is as EV as you can get, and it is a truck. Okay, so why did I want to do this video? Well, I love electric technology, all right? And frankly, there's something about it that interests me. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the future yet. There's reasons why I'm not on the whole electric car ship, jumping on that boat and sailing away like every other Tesla owner. And unfortunately, it'll still be some time before I am fully convinced to get an electric vehicle. Number one primary reason is range. It is getting better, but it's not there. And I don't find it is at a realm of where the practicality of owning a vehicle versus a gas pays for itself, especially in long road trips. Chevrolet has come out with this electric vehicle, their truck, the Silverado E, and it is better than most standard electric vehicles in my opinion. I know Ford has the 150 Lightning. That is actually a phenomenal truck that I've heard. But this has some pros that have actually changed my perception on electric cars. Primarily just this model. I'm never gonna own a Tesla. I think Tesla's amazing with SpaceX and what Elon Musk has done with it and the whole affiliation with that and that company. That itself is cool, but the Tesla vehicle itself, I don't find the build quality is there. The range is marginal, subpar in my opinion, and the usability of the vehicles, and don't get me started with the Cybertruck, is just not there, in my opinion. That is preference. I'm not saying that that is the correct way or any of that. Some people absolutely love Teslas. If you have a true passion about it, I respect that. This, however, from a practicality standpoint, has changed my perception on it. So let's get some numbers on it so you kind of have something to work with. This is 2024. This is a 4-door. It has a truck bed. It is a fully electric motor with a rough range of 450 miles. Its engine specs, being electric, is 750 horsepower at wide open throttle or wattage output, and its torque is right around 600 foot-pounds of torque. Now that will change plus or minus depending on temperature, how much you're in the throttle, and if you're towing something. Yes, this does tow something, or towing ability, I should say. And it also has a truck bed in the back, which makes it fully usable and its purpose much more usable for the average everyday person. So I put a decent amount of miles on this. I haven't used up the single charge that I had so far, but mileage for an electric vehicle, this is the most I've put mileage wise on any electric car ever. So this is my true electric vehicle experience, and it's a Chevy Silverado. So let's talk about things that I like about this after our trip down here and actually using this as an everyday vehicle. All right, number one is the room. All right, the actual interior room is what you'd expect out of a Silverado or a new truck. It's huge. Any person can be in this, whether you're 6'5" or 5'6". It's perfect. It's driver orientation is wonderful. Rear space is fantastic. Sorry, there's literally Otto drool because Otto is down here with us everywhere. So but overall usability as truck wise, it is perfect. This is exactly what you expect out of a truck. That is a pro. I thought the headroom, everything, the spaciousness of the vehicle was fantastic. Chevy did a great job on that. The usability of being a truck, well, there you go. Typical standard truck bed, which is exactly what you would need for most, but also you have stuff like this, plugins, like all these accessories for if you're camping. Literally everything you would need to power something, store stuff, go camping, whatever. So that makes the practicality of this positive. Trailer hitch to standard towing ability, which obviously would be lessen the mileage, but it still has that ability. And then its overall length is what you'd expect out of a truck, which is good. I think, you know, overall, everything about it is perfect. Now, things that I really like about this. Well, we're gonna start with, number one, it's electric. There's no horsepower delay off the throttle. It literally is instantaneous power. Okay, what's the acceleration of the new electric Silverado?
Oh, I'm just looking at the abandoned. Oh! You're gonna fly over the hill.
And the acceleration of this is actually phenomenal. It literally puts your head in the seat. I would say its actual performance is far greater than I ever expected out of a truck. It's probably the fastest truck I've ever driven, hilariously enough. So the fun factor of that, it's driving wise, being all electric, you know, I'm not big on the electric vehicles because they don't talk to you like a gasoline engine. I love exhaust notes. This has no note at all, but it also doesn't make that annoying sound that you hear from like some electric vehicles or like an Amazon van where it's like, sounds like the Jetsons vehicle is driving right by you. It just doesn't make any sounds. So that's one positive that I guess out of the electric car realm. And obviously for me, the range is there. For a truck, it's pretty darn good. If you were driving in the city, charge times, they have multiple options. For a fast charge, 30 minutes gets you, you know, 35%, 40%, and then a longer charge to get 100%. Obviously, options to plug it in are getting better, but that was, I would say, is also a drawback or a con of these is that the infrastructure for electric vehicles, especially in areas like rural Texas, you're kind of SOL. You might find some options, but you probably won't. If If you're in Los Angeles, New York, any of the big hub cities, Austin, you probably are going to find a charging port quite easily. But you have to definitely map out where you're going, how far you're going, and if they have charging options. And to me, that's still a con. I will be fully convinced to get an electric truck in the future if the theoretical range of a truck is over 1,000 miles. Fast charging is 30 minutes or under, so I'm not delayed on where I need to go. And the lifespan of the batteries is guaranteed beyond a certain realm, such as a decade. Priuses, you're starting to see have a failure with their batteries in the hybrid system, and you're going to see more of that. We haven't seen the wave of battery failures yet because the electric car market has got this ramped up exposure. And once again, I'm not an electric vehicle expert. I'm just what I'm going by from my experience and what I've read and what people are predicting. So the range needs to go up in general. 1,000 nautical miles, sorry, 1,000 miles in general. Sorry, I'm talking aviation. But if you can get an electric vehicle to do 1,000 miles, easily accessible charging stations, you're going to have a lot of people convinced to get one because the power's there, it's quiet, its usability and practicality, and the cost versus the gas mileage of a truck. I mean, you're talking $6-7 to $18, depending on where you go, to fully charge this. And that's getting you 450 miles. That's a pretty economical and financial gain versus 60-gallon fuel tank to fill up. Then, you know, diesel is also expensive. So that's a pro of these. All right, let's go into the interior. So a little bit of a con on this. I think this is just gonna be the options of what it is right now, is the interior is a little bit of lackluster. Kind of feels kind of like basic. It is futuristic, I get that, but it's, you know, this thing's rubberized for, I guess, dirt and whatever you expect for it. So I guess that's a pro. Is it stylish? Is it classy, warm? No. It is as futuristic as you can get with no warmth. That's a con. Pro, however, is the usability of space. Cup holder, cup holder, cup holder, cup holder, storage, 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 more storage, cup holder, storage underneath the seats, storage underneath those seats, storage behind the seats. You're talking storage everywhere. I absolutely love that about this truck, and I almost feel like this truck has more storage. Heck, storage. There's a lot of storage options. Chevrolet has done it right with this, as far as putting storage options and cup holders and tall cup holders to hold this. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a vehicle where it's like, this is flopping around. Nope, this stays right where you want it, especially when you're hauling absolute butt in one of these. Like I said earlier, the driver view and peripheral vision is phenomenal. This is a big truck, but it also has really good options for backing up. Check this out. So it has these features that will definitely save people a lot of body work when parking a vehicle. And that right there is a technological advancement that I absolutely love. All right, you have options like this. I have 60% battery left, or, well, take that back, how much energy usage I've gone so far. Right now I have 276 miles on this, and I've driven it through dirt roads, everything. It drives great. It's still a little robotic to me, and I prefer my older vehicle because it just talks to me. I like vehicles that kind of talk to you, and I'm still getting used to the electric car market. However, I believe that this deserves a chance, and it actually has impressed me for the little bit of time that I've had it, more so than I ever actually expected out of an electric truck. Things that I don't like how it drives. Acceleration is fantastic. However, this has this regeneration. I'm going to show you how this works. This is something that messes with me. In fact, I would say this is a pretty big negative, and I get it. It's needed. So when you accelerate, let's say here, we're going to accelerate. Not fast, but I'm just going to go. Yes, I know, I got to buckle my seatbelt. However, when I let off the throttle, it goes into this regeneration. If you see this green bar right here, So this is regeneration braking. And I get it. It helps charge the vehicle. It's taking power and converting it back into the battery from slowing down. However, the drivability of this, the minute I let off the throttle, feels like this has a flat tire. I'm not even touching the brakes yet. That has been messing with me, and I'm just now starting to get used to it, but I'm still driving kind of crappy with it. It is kind of going, how I drive it is slow, fast, slow, fast. So you're kind of doing this back and forth, because it slows down, and then you're in the throttle and it slows down, and you don't even touch the brakes yet. So I don't like that so much about the vehicle. You could, I guess, get kind of your passenger's car sick pretty easily, in my opinion. So that's one thing that needs to be changed. I don't know if you can disable that, but this regeneration braking system will make your passengers sick, because this is weird to me driving this vehicle, because when you slow down, you accelerate, you slow down. How it drives is a little robotic. It talks to you through the wheel. The steering feels like a truck, but it also is, you know, a little sensitive in the roads. It'll kind of grab certain ways. So, and once again, this is a first generation electric truck. Nothing will be perfect. I totally get that. So I would say that is a con. The braking system of the regeneration braking, when you're not even touching the brakes, it feels like you almost have a flat tire the minute you let off the throttle. That part's a little weird. Other options about it that I would feel that could be improved. I feel that the road noise going down the highway is fairly high. At 65 miles an hour, it's equivalent to the same road noise that my former Land Rover had with a giant roof rack on it. The road noise is pretty significant for being an electric car that's essentially supposed to be silent. The acceleration's silent. You barely hear the electric motor out of that, but the actual wind noise going over the truck is fairly loud. That could be improved. And overall, if you are on the market for one of these, I think it is a Chevrolet product. So I feel that the build quality of this, being a Chevy, and of course everybody's gonna say, oh, I'm a Ford guy, I'm a Dodge guy, whatever you are, doesn't matter. Chevy has done a great job, in my opinion. I'm actually very impressed. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the coolest, 1 being crappiest, I give this a solid 5 or a 6, maybe even a 7 if I spent more time with it. If I was in the city and only needing a vehicle around the city and occasional outskirts in the mountains and then come back, and I'm keeping it under 450 miles, this would be an absolute perfect daily driver. The cost to charge it, the usability of it, the maintenance is very low on an electric car, except when it'll be time for a battery change, which who knows. Some people are saying that these will be good for 100,000 miles. Other people will say that at 50,000 you're probably gonna need a battery change. I don't know. That'll be, only the future can tell that. But would I approve one of these for a modern day vehicle if I had to go buy a new electric vehicle? I'll tell you one thing, I would choose this over a Tesla. Now there's only one other manufacturer that appeals to me in comparison to this, that kind of catches my eye still, and that's a Rivian. You might argue with me on that. I just think that the styling of it, once again, its usability as a truck, and it has interior features that I feel that are far more superior than the interior features of this. Once again, this could be just an absolute base model electric Silverado. Now, cost of these. Base cost of this is $75,000. This one optioned out is right around $90,000 truck. But that's what trucks are going for these days, which is absolutely bonkers in my mind. So you're gonna get what you pay for, and you have a $90,000 electric truck. And, well, I figured I'd do a video on a vehicle that I never thought I would do a video on, because frankly, the only electric vehicle that I want to work with is an electric aircraft. Yes, I did set the world altitude record in an electric paramotor, but I was never big on electric cars because they just don't talk to you. They feel robotic. They feel dead. There's no soul. If I can hear an exhaust note and feel the idle of a car shaking the entire vehicle in a way, and the acceleration and the act of shifting a vehicle, this is weird. There's no idle. There's no put it in to gear manual mode, touch the brake, and it's just ready to go. You know, that part's weird to me, and I guess that's an adaptation. But overall, I'm actually really impressed with the electric Silverado. And if they can really up the range on one of these, I would really consider one for an electric vehicle if I was to get one. But that's one big if. So hopefully that gave you some insight. We'll go for a drive, and This is an electric 2024 Silverado. I guess we're gonna load your butt. You wanna come up here? Come on.
Yeah, he's hobbling a little. You kind of need a bath too. You got
Oh yeah, he
stickers
does
on.
need a bath, huh?
You need a bath.
Oh, do I? So what's your opinion on?
This thing, I was an electric hater, but I'm not an electric hater anymore.
It's not as bad as I thought, huh?
It's not. And we've been able to get around pretty good because we at least have done an hour or so in the car and we haven't
And
stopped.
I drove it a bunch this morning, and both her and I are. See, this is weird to me. It's in park. All right, now it's in drive, but it's still dead silent. That part's weird to me. There's no idling, there's vibrate, and you literally just touch the throttle and it goes. So I gotta get used to that. But her and I are vintage car people. We also like gas stations and just petrol engines in general.
You're gonna offend people.
I probably am gonna offend people. I take that back, but it's weird. Maybe it's just a Colorado thing. Probably gonna offend more people there. Anyways,
If you're a Tesla owner in Colorado, Nate doesn't like your driving. Mo, listen up.
yeah, listen up. I think there's just a weird dynamic behind that, but maybe say the same thing about Corvettes and everything else, including Mercedes diesel drivers.
MG owners.
MG owners, they're such a-holes. My God. You talk to an MG guy. What a dick goblin. Can I say that? I can't say that. Maybe I can. No. Anyways. I really like this, and I would find that usability. If you are also wondering about towing capacity, yes, it does have a braking system for your trailer brake.
Did you show them the sweet outlets in the truck bed?
Yes, I was really impressed with that. But yeah, I mean, you literally can tow your, it's impressive. You can treat this as a regular truck. Yes, your range is limited, but it will tow what you need. It's electric, so you have 100% of the power immediately. And obviously the acceleration is great. I just like doing that,
Here goes my lunch.
All right, well, we're gonna go for a drive. Hopefully that gave you some insight from a guy that's been anti-electric vehicle, car guy in general. I just kind of roll my eyes with those. And to somewhat being persuaded and actually appreciating some of the realm of electric vehicle.
It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie.
Oh, really? And Nugget approves. Considering all that drool that's in the back there. Nugget, you wanna go potty?
Hi.
Hi. You gonna say hi?